So, the videos in front of you are talking about soothing and pain and feature me, which include this one, in the midst of some really difficult spaces. I'm still currently trying to find a counselor. I am in the midst of crisis, but I recorded these videos because I am finding out some really important things about trauma and what it is to be a traumatized child and then going through even more traumatic experiences. I am reading a book or listening to an audiobook called The Body Keeps the Score. Really encourage you that if my videos are speaking to you, that you give it a listen. I haven't finished it yet, but again, this video experience is seeming to be helpful to me, and that is the reason I'm making it. So this seemed like a critical time to make these videos. May not be the perfect time, but when the heck is. Again, I think I may say this again, but these are going to be difficult. Please be aware of that. They were difficult for me to make. It's going to be difficult for me to release these because they show me in pain. And me in pain is me at my most vulnerable. I do not let people see me in pain. I just don't. And a couple of these videos are me at and in my most vulnerable places. So, if you're not prepared to see me there, stop now. If you're gonna watch me there, be responsible. Yeah. To my body slowly failing on me. My wrists are starting to give out when it comes to carpal tunnel, so I can't really knit anymore. I managed to get some Christmas gifts finished up, but I couldn't even complete my pussy hat for the Women's March because my wrists were cramping so bad in the attempts to finish crocheting it. I can't color because I get so tense when I color that I press so hard that the same thing happens. Somehow when I paint, I'm kind of forced to not press so hard, so I can manage to paint for a while before that sensation sets in, but I can also only paint so long before that carpal tunnel thing happens. I used to play a lot of sports. And I really felt alive. I really felt like I had a fire hose. Not even a fire hose, a cannon, a water cannon that was just locked on. It's just locked on open. And every time I ran, every time I hit the ball, every time I competed, every time I was an athlete, every time I was flying. Some of it was leaving. Some of it was draining off. But in any case, that's what soothing is. Soothing is finding a place that you can open your mind and let it drain. And right now, I have in my life found many, many, many places to let it drain and open up and allow that to happen. And right now I can't do that. I've suffered too many physical injuries to play sports, to run, to do anything more than walk at a slow pace, and even that right now I can't do without discomfort. I literally cannot walk up a flight of stairs without feeling faint. I can't bend over. I can't stand up from a squat. I can't change my daughter's diaper without needing to pause for 5 minutes. So going on a good hike, taking a long walk, these all sound like lovely, lovely things that I used to love to do, but I can't physically do them to enjoy my life. So right now I paint. I sit in my garage and I paint, and I try not to think about the paint. So I explained about soothing, and I wanted to show you a little bit about my paintings. And the reason why is because I don't honestly know what significance this has, and I figured I'd show it anyways. My paintings right now, like I said, no, I haven't said this yet. I don't remember what I said. Are mandalas. Mandalas are circles, or at least traditionally tend to be circles within circles within circles. Something I've learned that is healthy for trauma healing can be harmonious, repetitive, synchronous, pattern, reestablishing those sorts of things. That sort of thing can be healthy. So with that, these are some of my paintings. Kind of this green one here that has fallen over is a beginning, and then this bluer one is a more finished project, and then those two in the middle are more in the works, the orange and lighter blue ones. And those sorts of things are what I see when I close my eyes. My mind is never still. I'm going to let you know that the screaming child is being monitored. My inner eye is never silent. When I close my eyes, that is what I see. I can never establish a silent vision or a black vision or a white or a dark or a, whatever still. That is what I see, just with a lot less color play. It's almost all red and blue and various shades therein. It looks a lot more like fireworks. It's a lot more three-dimensional. That is a lot more pleasant and colorful, and I guess that's the way I like to see it, is like that. But that play of mandalas is what I like to paint. It's relaxing for me if I can get past the perfection of the circles. That took a very, very, very long time for me. I had a lot of trouble painting as a child, actually, very specifically because of the perfection of painting, and I used to need to put outlines on things, and I don't anymore. And that was I got past that after some art classes. But in any case, I have needed these soothing mechanisms, this painting mechanism lately, because I can't quiet my brain. I can't relax, which is something I've learned in the last couple weeks is very indicative of trauma. So to kind of sum up why all of this video's videos are connected, I haven't gotten very many answers from my doctors. I've run into a lot of dead ends. I feel very log jammed. I've had a couple people tell me I'm getting really stuck, and I can see why they would say that. I'm trying to be proactive. I'm trying not to get stuck in cycles. I am trying to actively use my soothing mechanisms. I'm just left with very, very few. I don't have a lot of the soothing mechanisms that a lot of people have. Because I experienced trauma so early in life, I don't have one or two issues to get over, and I am struggling to pinpoint if my trauma has even ended and I am even at a point of healing beginning. I feel like I might not just be stuck in a healing process, like I might not be stuck in my healing process and unable to move forward. I may not have begun healing. That's what's terrifying me. I may have thought that I began healing a long time ago, and I may not have actually begun the process of healing from the trauma of my mother because it may not have stopped. I may have just taken the first steps towards stopping the trauma of my mother by breaking contact with her. And that is the most terrifying prospect of my entire life. So, onward, Avenger, into the great unknown. I'm going to go on to talk about that idea of where trauma begins and ends. That's the video you're about to see is a little difficult. You're going to see me go through a full-on flashback and what may even be some seizure activity I'm a little bit worried about. And then I'm going to try and conclude that video, and it's going to be clear that I need some extreme tools right now because I'm really, really struggling. My soothing mechanisms have gotten me this far, and I'm losing them. I'm losing access to them. I'm losing access to my soothing mechanisms. I'm desperately trying to avoid taking painkillers for the pain in my neck, and thus far I'm mostly succeeding. I have to use some muscle relaxers here and there. I mean, I'm not taking them daily, but it's becoming kind of difficult to do that. I don't use painkillers. I don't even take Tylenol, but again, you're gonna see how I have to deal with pain, and it's a lot of pain. I need some tools. I'm reaching out to my doctors. I'm running into a lot of walls in the mental health community. I need help. I need tools. I'm struggling. Getting excited is causing me some pain right now. I can barely eat. I can barely sleep. It's never the perfect time to publish one of these. I'm going to move on. This is getting too long. But I think it's important for you guys to see where I am and where I've been, and that I'm alive, and that I'm still trying, and I'm still trying to be proactive, and I'm trying not to disappear into oblivion. If you're still here, be prepared. Here it comes. A little about where I am. I have been in I don't know if I would call it, I don't know that I would say I've been having multiple flashbacks. I would say that I have been in one big long flashback. I have yet to see an end to it. But then again, I have been learning something about trauma, in that to be traumatized, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to an event that is traumatic. I have yet to figure out where I fit completely. I know where my assault fits. I was assaulted. My friends, my family, they reacted. The time passed. I moved with the flow of time. Time did not stop, regardless of how I felt that it affected me. And here I am, and the world has equally flowed. And for the most part, I can deal with that reality, right? Right. Okay. Beginning, middle, and end. I can tell most of the parts of that story. I can relive consciously. I can tell verbally. I can imagine and verbalize at the same time all of the parts of that story. I don't enjoy it. I don't like to do it all the time. I have physical consequences still of doing it, right? Okay, yes. I am still traumatized, but for the most part I have internalized and processed that trauma. And it becomes easier with time. Some years it's harder on the day of the trauma, some years it's easier. I saw a therapist for some years for it, and she deemed me to be at least moved on, able to not see her every week for it. I couldn't really afford to do it, and she thought it was safe for me to not do it. I don't know that she would have deemed me as healed, but she was also dealing with some health issues of her own, and okay, we're gonna stop there because that's not the point. So we've established that my mother sucked as a caregiver. And that the system wasn't really set up to figure out if my father would or wouldn't have been a better caregiver, and that even after my stepmother and father were married, so we haven't established this, but fact is, even after my stepmother and father were married, there were already 2 children in their household, and that would have then been stepping up the financial burden. So I was the custody of my mother, and by her understanding, I was her property. She had custody of me, and by that measure, I was her property. She had other messed up issues that, I'm not talking loud enough. She had other messed up issues that also made her think that, and other things, and, you know, she abused me for her reasons and whatnot, but, Skwock. That's not the point. And the point is, damn it. My child isn't asleep yet, and she really needs to be, so that's what text messages are about, parenting. What I'm coming to realize about trauma is that even though my mother clearly is the root that decayed and fucked the tree of my existence, the essence that could have been at least a less flawed me. Where does that trauma end? So my assault had a beginning, middle, and end, and I have put order to that disorder. And thus, even if I haven't completely healed, because there are parts of that disorder that are linked to the disorder that associates itself with my mother. My trauma with my mother is so disordered that I only know that it has begun and I am in the middle of it. My childhood ended long ago, and so I suppose I can try and put order to that. But I certainly don't feel like the trauma has ended. So how can I put how can I put order to the trauma? I just feel so broken inside right now. It's been a long time since I've even had to express this to anybody, but my mother slapped me for crying
It's it's the it's the one issue she ever tried to physically beat me for. She gave me a bloody nose with a hairbrush once because I cried when she brushed my hair and it physically hurt me. She would tease me in front of other parents for having a tender head when it came to brushing my hair. She once made me get my hair cut very, very short, and it was extremely traumatic. Because if I was vain about anything as a child, it was my hair. It's the one thing I ever felt pretty about was my hair. I was a tomboy in almost every other respect, and my mother always made me feel ugly. She told me I was fat. She told me I was ugly. She made me feel ugly. But she would always tell me I had pretty hair, and then she'd bitch and moan whenever I got tangles in my hair, and then she'd brush it out. Was never gentle about it, and then would bitch and moan whenever I would cry or get upset that she was brushing too hard, and then would get upset and tell me I was being too tender-headed and pull harder. Or at least that's how I remember it. But in any case, one day she reached around and smacked me with a brush, gave me a big old bloody nose. Got all pissed off at me. I remember one night we were sitting on the stairs. I was crying. She slapped me. And then she started crying. Told me I was a horrible daughter. Made her slap me. Because I couldn't get my crying under control. How horrible a daughter I was for making her cry. And then I had to console her and make her feel better. I remember being really confused. And then moving forward, I just kind of spaced out. Whenever she would talk about her past, be like, fuck you. I don't give a shit. I always listen to other people, and I have a lot of sympathy for how they feel. But you'll see me talk about things and tears will stream down my face, but I can't cry. If I ever go into hysterics, it means I have absolutely lost control. And I've desperately wanted to just lose that control lately, and I just can't. I feel like if I could, it would do me a lot of good. And I just can't release that. And there's a lot of hurt attached to that. Yeah. Even for the physical pain, I can't just cry about it. My mom wouldn't let that happen either. That wasn't allowed to happen. That's why I'm pretty adamant with my own daughter. Whenever she hurts something, I'm sorry, that must hurt. Yes, that must hurt. Well, I'm sorry that happened. That's why we have to be careful not to do that again. That does hurt. I hurt myself a lot as a kid. Pretty high pain tolerance. That's why this nonsense with my neck is a lot of nonsense. It's not even like I can't just let some of it out. It's not even like I can't just scream into a pillow. It's not like I haven't tried that. It's not like I can't just vent some of it out. Imagine if your sphincter was the size of this pearl, but your poop was the size of this ring. Okay? Now get the poop out of your sphincter. Just imagine how that's going to go. You can't just... I can't just take a lifetime's worth of everything and have a good cry. I don't know how to do that. It's not just going to make it all better. I understand it's going to take a while. But there's a second component going on here, and I need people to listen to that too. I'm working with the teams. Don't worry, I have the doctors on. But... fuck. I got excited, and now I have to deal with the aftermath. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what's been going on and where I am. I started the video off, and now I got to explain this half of it. Where I am is that every time I get excited, this video is at 12 minutes and 18 seconds. This is now the 4th or 5th time this has happened. My face is starting to slowly get tingly and numb. As if your foot might get tingly and numb. As if you're just waking it up. Oh, my ear's getting tingly too. This is fun. Oh, mother of pearl. I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. Oh, and it's cold. Oh, my nose. Okay, so I'm just following the tingling right now. Tingling might be the wrong word. It's kind of like a cold. Really, it's like your foot when your leg goes numb kind of thing. It's like up and down my whole face, my spine hurts, my... Oh. Sorry, that probably looked like a whole lot of nothing, but it felt like a whole lot. Ah! It just feels like pins and needles all over the place. It makes me want to rip my skin off. You can't see my feet, but I'm tapping my toes because it's the only thing I can really do. Oh man. Okay. So the time mark on the video is now 16:55. I'm going to tell you that whole thing made me really uncomfortable to record, and I don't know if I will include that or not, but I made a recording of that for documenting purposes. Because, like I said, that's like the 4th or 5th time that's happened now since yesterday afternoon. And that is a new symptom. The flashbacks have never been quite that neurologically poignant. And severe. I might call that a seizure almost. That seems to be the aftermath of getting really upset. Yeah. So. I'm gonna stop that now.
So, like I usually say, thank you for listening. Remember that I do my best to sink my own ship. Please be careful what advice you give. Right now is a painful time for me, and advice is a double-edged sword. I appreciate where your advice comes from, because I know it's a place of love and you want me to feel better. I would appreciate more that you express your love by saying you love me. And if you know someone that specializes in trauma, let me know their name. Or you know a good book about it, I'd be happy to hear the name of the book. Thank you for listening. That makes a difference. It really, really does.